something that meant a lot to me, and you caught up, so that means a lot to me too, Dave. Amy Sherman-Palladino's Marvelous Mrs. Maisel dropped end of November 2017. Made a lot of people's end of year lists, but not ours because we hadn't had a chance to really get through it yet. And I think I wrapped up back in either late December or early January.
Yeah, I think it was January sometime.
Yeah, and then I think you started watching shortly after. You finished very recently. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the show is very great, very fun, quite enjoyable. As you said, Amy Sherman-Palladino, pretty prolific TV creator. Obviously, she cut her chops work writing for Roseanne, but got really big with Gilmore Girls, which she created, as well as the short-lived Bunheads. But I'm not going to pretend I'm a Gilmore Girls head or anything, but she did become well known for like a trademark, like a pitter patter, like a ping pong style, quick dialogue pace, almost like Aaron Sorkin, I guess you could say, for TV. And that immediately grabbed me with Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, because the show, I mean, the conversations, I think the ping pong description is the best way to put it, because it's just so fast. Snappy. And it makes the conversation so fun. Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, we should probably mention this stars Rachel Brosnahan, who you would probably recognize most from her short turn, 2-season turn on Game of Thrones. Jesus,
Game of Cards.
House of Cards on Netflix as Doug Stamper's prostitute infatuation.
Also named Rachel.
Might be the best way. Yeah. So she plays Midge. Also, Michael Zegan plays her husband Joel. Other people you might recognize are like Tony Shalhoub and Kevin Pollak play the fathers of Midge and Joel, respectively. Also, someone that I just want to shout out, Luke Kirby, who plays Lenny Bruce.
He's dope.
Probably one of my favorite characters in this.
Of course, Alex Bornstein, the voice of Lois Griffin, is probably the co-lead or secondary lead.
Yeah, she plays Susie Meyerson. So just to get, from here on out, full spoiler. So check down below in the description, go to the timestamp and click forward to Black Panther if you don't want this to be spoiled for you. All right. So
we're big fans. So come back when you watch.
Yeah, especially if you come to our YouTube page, you can check out the breakout anytime you want to. Midge is this housewife in the 1950s New York.
Yeah, late 50s, I think, is where the majority of it takes place in New York City.
And she's married to Joel. They meet in college, fall in love. She becomes basically like the perfect housewife, even to the point where when she goes to sleep at night, she waits till he falls asleep, gets up, takes her makeup off, and then goes to bed and wakes up before he wakes up and puts her makeup back on.
So absurd.
Man. Dude. But her mom is the same exact way.
I know.
Insane. So basically, Joel is into comedy. It's his, I don't know, passion on the side of his whatever job as a VP for some company. He bombs at a comedy club one night and comes home and tells Midge, I can't do this anymore. And basically sends her life into a complete another spiral that ends up with her on stage, basically mocking Joel, but finding out that she actually has a knack for comedy, which is brought to her attention by Alex Borstein's Susie Meyerson at the club. And from there, basically the season touches on a lot of different topics, but it's just about her journey, getting into the stand-up game. Things that are covered in terms of family relationships, marital relationships, friendship of men and women in that time. What stood out to you most in this season? What drew you in?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything about it is just so grand. I think Rachel Brosnahan as a actress in this role, she just lights up the screen. She's so magnetic, even when she's not even like talking, when she's just in the combo with someone else. I mean, she just steals the screen. And the lavish apartments that they have, it just oozes wealth. It's really pretty, as well as, I mean, the costumes, so many costumes. I mean, and then when you factor in the 1950s era musical soundtrack that also screams expensive because they got some really well-known songs in there. Just a lot of effort was put into making the show feel authentic. I mean, it takes place at the Gaslight Cafe, which was a real place in Greenwich Village during that time. You see Oscar Isaac there at the beginning of Inside Llewyn Davis, for example. Lenny Bruce, the comedian, was a real person, a famous person at that. And then, I mean, I think Midge, she's basically based off of like Joan Rivers and like Phyllis Diller and all those like early pioneers for female stand-up comedians. So once you kind of just get that whole like get into that vibe and you just go into the story, I mean, I think it's just really well done. I mean, the show started out with the Amazon pilot season, April 2017, and then very quickly afterwards, in March, and then they picked it up for a 2-season order at a pilot season, which is very rare for Amazon. And I believe the second season is going to start filming next month. But yeah, just the overall effort. I mean, everyone seems so invested in making the show work, and Rachel Brosnahan really takes advantage of the opportunity, no doubt.
Yeah, Midge is one of the most magnetic characters I can remember watching on TV. It's especially in the last couple of years, but basically almost every scene she's in, like you talked about, the dialogue, the way that she delivers lines, her facial expressions, like
the accents.
Yeah, the accents, even the way that like she walks around the city or will walk around the apartment or like lean against something is like so like precise, but like it really just gives off the vibe that this character she's a magnet. She's this huge personality who's going to be huge. And I think that on top of just the writing in this is excellent. It ties everything together.
A lot of good Jewish humor.
Yes, exactly. And it like each character gets moments that like they get to shine. You know, Tony Shalhoub, his relationship with Marion Henkel's Rose, his wife in the show, and just the way that they keep like moving the rooms, or like when they get in a fight, he moves the living room, she gets the dining room back. It just kills me. It's really smart, and it humanizes everybody in it, especially Joel, who you pretty much end up hating right from the get-go, but you
he sucks.
He does suck, but you come to understand him more, and
I guess
his plight. So you're not a big Joel guy, huh?
I think one of something I appreciated the most was that those two split up at the end of the first episode, at the end of the pilot, and that was a very good idea. I'm having them drag out that it got into the making it more about Midge right away, which I thought was a good touch. I'm curious to see what they do in season 2 with him. And I think they're kind of keeping it tight-lipped about their plans. But I mean, he quit his job. He could just, I don't know how much. Basically, they didn't like really let him go throughout the whole season 1, so I assume he'll be around still.
I have a feeling they'll actually send him out to California. You know, that was one of the things they talked about. I think he'll probably come in and out of the season, but mostly be in California just to let it basically be Midge and Susie moving forward.
I like that they Abe, her dad, knows about her arrest record, and Rose doesn't really know anything that's going on. They didn't like throw that out in the season finale. You know, they kept those bombs primed for future storytelling, which I thought was smart. They didn't just kind of throw everything at the wall at the end. I mean, I really love the show. I can't wait for season 2. I think the only like minor quips I have is like they didn't really tell you anything about Susie. Her kind of dedication to Midge is kind of hard to understand at times because you still don't really know anything about her backstory. They never go into it. And even kind of the same vein, Penny, the girl that Joel leaves Rachel for, never gets to say anything. Like she's such a cipher intentionally, but it's kind of weird as they go, and it's just like, I guess it doesn't matter, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of strange.
Yeah, I think it actually the part about Susie is well taken. That leaves a lot of space for her to have much bigger moments in season 2, and it's just a really interesting and intriguing thing because it's somebody doing something that no one at that time was doing, and there's so much so many obstacles for her to overcome, so much plot there to work out. So definitely looking forward to Marvelous Mrs. Maisel season 2. If you can remember, I know I'm putting you on the spot. Would this have made your top 10, and where do you think it would have fallen for you?
That's a good question. Maybe. I probably like this season more than Big Little Lies. I think about it.
Yeah, I think I would have put it around like 7, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it depends because like at the back end of my list, I had like Master of None and Legion, shows I really, really like. So I mean, that's kind of peak TV for you. It's competitive.
Yeah, would have been tough.
Yeah, it'd probably be in there at some point, at some level.